Hey there, sister. As I head into maternity leave and the holiday season, I really wanted to provide a recap of what this last year has brought as far as a business owner and an image consultant and just a style coach for Christian women, and share with you the amazing journey that God has given me this last year.
Hey there, lovely. Welcome to the Radiantly Dressed podcast. Do you want to feel beautiful and confident and look put together in your clothes? Do you find yourself scrolling Pinterest looking for capsule wardrobes and outfit ideas? Do you walk into your closet hoping for an easy wardrobe solution only to feel frustrated and frumpy when nothing looks or feels like you want it to? Hey there, I'm Stacey. I'm a busy homeschooling mom juggling life, business, and struggling with autoimmune disease. Just like you, I felt overwhelmed and frustrated with my closet and wished I had an easy-to-put-together wardrobe that reflected who I am on the inside, the woman that God is constantly refining. But I just could not figure out how to have easy mornings and authentic style until I found the power of color analysis and capsule wardrobes. In this podcast, you'll find how to wear and use your best colors, a proven framework to create an easy closet full of clothes you love, and how to do it all in a way that honors who God created you to be, so that frumpy fashion doesn't get in the way of your faith and mission. So put in your favorite earrings, swipe on some lipstick, and let's get dressed.
Hey there, sister. This is usually the part of the episode where I tell you what's going on, what the latest new thing is that we're doing. I tell you about a program or how you can get connected, but I am on maternity leave. So if you would like to connect with me, the team at Radiantly Dressed, work on your style, I have a couple different ways that you can join in even while I'm on maternity leave to get you moving forward in your personal style journey. Number one, please join the free Facebook community we have. It is wonderful. We have over 1,000 amazing members inside. That's at christianstylecommunity.com. Number two, if you're really struggling with your self-image and how you feel about yourself, and you're ready to learn to love what you see in the mirror and move forward confidently with your day in a style that suits you, then I invite you to join the Radiant by Design membership. It's only $7 a month. You will get all kinds of amazing course content, mindset work, biblical mindset work, and just really begin to learn who you are in God's eyes. And that is at radiantbydesigncollective.com. You can also get connected by following any of the links below this episode that will lead you to free affirmations, creating a free color palette, or any of the other courses, programs, and digital products that I offer. I can't wait to see the radiant woman that you'll become over the next few months. So as many of you may know, I am due any day now, really, with baby number 7, which means that my maternity leave is starting soon. And some of you may not know this, but I am recovering from COVID at very, very pregnant. And you can tell by my voice, it's a little scratchy here. Last week was the first time since I started the podcast that I skipped an episode and didn't show up because I didn't really have a voice and I'm coughing a lot still. And it's interesting because earlier this year, I guess it was midsummer, I made the decision to not offer the Radiant Woman Intensive for its last session of the year. And I didn't know why at the time. I just felt kind of a stirring from the Lord that I needed to pull that for the time being. And I figured that He knew something that I didn't know. And apparently He knew that I was going to get COVID at 37 weeks pregnant. 37, however many, whenever it was that I caught it, I don't remember. And that I would not be functioning at full capacity. And along those lines, I am still recovering. I'm still struggling quite a bit with energy on top of, being 9 months pregnant and not having enough energy. And so this will be the last podcast episode of 2023. I am going to be pre-recording episodes for the entirety of my maternity leave. So your next new episode that you will get will be on January 1st. And I'm really excited about that. If you notice a scratchy voice, it's because I'm recording it today after this one. But I have just decided to slow down and enjoy the holiday season and enjoy the last of my pregnancy, waiting patiently, impatiently as it is But along those lines, since this is the last episode of 2023, I did want to just give a recap of what this year has brought for me as a business owner, what has changed. Many of you probably don't know this, but I have essentially rebuilt my entire business from the ground up this last year. And I have worked like a crazy person ever since pretty much the whole year. And so I just really wanted to express my gratitude by giving a recap of what that has meant for me. And occasionally some of my clients or members will ask me questions about what it's like to start a business or run a business. And so if you're interested in, side hustles or starting your own business or anything like that, I just want to let this be an encouragement to you as I talk about this journey that it's always evolving and changing. So I hope you enjoy this very just, how to rebuild a business in a year recap of 2023. But before I get into this year, a little background is probably needed, especially if you're new here and don't know me very well. I started my business in 2020 in the middle of the pandemic with a 3-month-old baby. I was struggling to create a capsule wardrobe that felt like me and wasn't a carbon copy of Pinterest or other people's style that wasn't authentic. And someone said, well, you should just do it and start blogging about it. And that is exactly what I did. And over 3 years, I built up a blog that gets quite a bit of traffic for color analysis. I kind of became known for my color analysis skills as a guru. I kept going and kept learning and got certified as an image consultant, started working with clients, helping them create wardrobes that were authentic for them, and just duplicating my process. And that's really what I've been up to since 2020 is just learning and refining and helping other people learn and help them refine as well. So it's just been a process of, just just taking that journey really. And as I began to work, I've always been a Christian business owner focusing on working with Christian women. We've always vetted our free Facebook group carefully to make sure that it's a safe place for Christian women because nothing that we do is really apart from Christ, especially in even how we look and how we show up. So it's always been a part of my business. And my tagline from the beginning has been personal style for Christian women, because I wanted that to be really obvious. And obviously, some of my own journey has been really interesting this last year, so I'm going to talk about that. But the more and more I worked with clients, the more I began to realize there was something missing in my process, in my business, that I wasn't going deep enough into this part of being a Christian woman and being, I guess, fashionable, stylish, creating a capsule wardrobe, whatever your thing is that you're here listening, trying to learn about, that there was just a piece missing. And I began to really feel it in my business. I began to feel it as I worked with people. And I started to feel a stirring to really close that gap. And that's what this year has really been about, a lot about actually, is closing that gap. And sometimes it feels like walking off into the wilderness with no clue where I'm going, or if it's going to work, or if anyone is going to care, or if anybody wants to hear it, or if they just want me to stick to the simple tactical stuff. But ultimately, at the end of every day, I have to follow God's leading for my life, including my business and how I show up and how I work with people, because there is this ministry element to what I do. So that's just kind of a background about how it started and where we are right now. And so I'm going to go through this via quarters, because that's how we do things in business, is Q1, Q2, et cetera, et cetera. So that's really the best way for me to kind of break it up here. Q1 was crazy. Like the first quarter of the year was insane. I launched the podcast on December 28th of last year. So we're almost at a year. And we're just going to let it go by without an episode because, again, maternity leave, holidays, we're just going to enjoy that. And something I did also at the beginning of the year was I made my largest investment yet in growth and coaching for the podcast and my business. And in the middle, not even in the middle, at the beginning of all of that, this was when the Lord really convicted me to start head covering. which was a huge shift in my own personal journey. And also, not only was I taking this very intense course that was 3 months long, tons of homework every week. I was spending like 8 to 10 hours on the workload learning this stuff every week. I was also in the process of recording the content for the Radiant Woman Intensive because I had launched it previously before and I had just delivered everything in a live format without pre-recorded lessons. And I knew I was ready to make that into something that was more substantial and to really build a powerful asset in my course and coaching and all of the things that I offer to provide a cohesive framework. So the first quarter of the year was crazy busy. And not only was it crazy busy, but I was also going through some pretty big shifts for myself, really in how I looked and how I showed up, and having to let go of expectations and deal with what people were going to think of me and being faithful to what God was asking. So when I look back on it, it was really great. And I do have an episode coming up on maternity leave talking more about the head covering thing, kind of reviewing a year of that and some of the lessons there. So if you're interested in hearing more about that, that is coming as well. But moving on, so that was kind of the first quarter. It was build, learn. Very intense. I worked a lot. I was working like 30 hours a week, which as a mom of 6 who homeschools is an awful lot of work, to be honest. I would get up at 4:00 in the morning and I would record the lessons for the intensive. And I would just keep going about my day. It was insane, but it was really great because it was just this heavy push. And I created something that I'm still really proud of and still really excited to bring back next year in a slightly longer, different format for everyone. Which brings me to the second quarter of the year, which was a little bit of a period of rest. And I needed it because at the very end of all of that crazy, intense first quarter work, I found out that I was pregnant with number 7. And I was exhausted from the first trimester. And I was feeling really lost in a way because I had always offered color analysis and it had been the big thing in my business. And I had offered some other things, but my business jumped from color analysis to a full on like 3-month intensive program. And I just really felt like there was a gap in the middle. And I didn't know how to bridge the gap and there were no answers coming. I was praying, I was looking for solutions. I was researching so many different learning modalities and options for really finding that bridge, to help people, to get them from this one point to this place of completion in their wardrobe and happiness and contentment and feeling like they loved everything in their closet. Like there was just a big hole in the middle, like a chasm really, of information that I needed to fill in. And I didn't know what to do. And so really it was just a period of rest and reflection and just praying and waiting, which I obviously needed because I'm going to go ahead and just jump forward because nothing much really happened here. We were in the summer session of the intensive and otherwise it was just me being really tired and just waiting for clarity. And then as the third quarter rolled around, which is kind of the summer quarter, that clarity really started to come to me. I found some direction, and inspiration from a business coach who was offering insane amount of value at a lower ticket price. And it really transformed my thought process. I still believe in the intensive. I still believe that if you want like the true one-on-one help, that is there, and it exists there, but also there needs to be space for everybody else in the process, the people who are at the beginning, the people who are in the middle, and I just am not ever going to be comfortable charging thousands of dollars for Christian women who are supposed to live their lives in a generally modest way, including our finances, and that was something that other business mentors and coaches had encouraged me to do. It never felt right for me. It always felt really wrong. And so it was such a breath of fresh air to find somebody who was like, you know what, you can show up and you can give people a ton of value and you don't have to charge them a ton of money. And it completely changed my framework. And all of a sudden that just dam that had been there, that there was no clarity and there was no direction, it completely opened up. And then things started flying. Things started going crazy. I spent most of the third quarter creating the Radiant by Design membership, which is a $7 a month program. And I'm going to be honest with you, there's a ton of information in that course. It's got tons of recorded lessons. It's got workbooks some of the workbooks are 30, 40 pages. It's truly about transforming how you see yourself. And it was that missing piece that I talked about earlier in the episode where I felt like there was so much more that God wanted us to discover about ourselves along this process. And so everything that kind of coalesced there, God really designed that, radiant by design, like God designed, we're God designed. We should be radiant by his design. And that's where that really just came about. And so I spent all this time creating amazing like workbooks and journals and recording lessons and just, again, creating an entirely new program, an entirely new course. And I truly, it's like truly a heart journey. I really love it. And that was the thing. I kept seeing my clients get stuck. I kept seeing them get stuck on things that they were feeling in their head, that they were thinking about themselves. And I knew they needed something to help them move forward. And that is exactly what I created in that program. I also expanded my business by hiring my first assistants and really starting to create a team to help me with some of the workload so that I could focus more on creating and being the image consultant instead of being the writer and the blog editor and the everything person all the time. And that's been really amazing. It's really freed up some of my creative space in my head. And it's just another piece of the growth journey, incredible growth journey, really. And then finally, I feel like this is getting really long, so I'm going to try to wrap it up. Finally, in the fourth quarter, which we are currently wrapping up right now, I just kept rolling so hard through everything I was doing. I took on a rebrand of the website and the podcast, small image things, but also the website got a completely new look. Just trying to keep up with Google and the Times, essentially, which is its own really job in and of itself. But I also created another program. So if you're counting right now, in 2023, I created 3 entire learning programs, which seems crazy, but also I'm just like completely humbled that God gave me the space and the energy and the time and the wisdom and the brain to do all of this, because just wow. But yeah, no, so I created this one's a self-study program that we just launched right before Thanksgiving, which is all about color and style essences and just finding one amazingly great outfit to build your wardrobe upon. And moving forward, we did this really cool capsule wardrobe workshop, which again, like that was an 85-page workbook. Apparently I don't know how to edit down, which has been really a funny journey for me. And here I am, a few weeks before the end of the year. And God is slowing me down. I have officially been stalled and stopped by COVID, and mostly by COVID, to be honest with you. It just really kind of threw me for a loop. And God knew that this was where my energy would run out and this is where things would be finished. And of course, I have a few still lingering odds and ends I'm wrapping up just to kind of keep things smooth on maternity leave. But all in all, it's just been like a crazy rock star year. I don't know that you could build a whole business in a year, but apparently you can rebuild a business in a year. And I know this isn't completely style related, but also, again, like I am out of energy and my voice is tired and I've created so much new stuff that I don't think I can create anything else right now. And so, yeah, some of the episodes going forward of the next, little area of my maternity leave, they might be a little off topic, but yeah, that's just me just winging it at this point. I am so grateful to what God has done for me personally this year, my own self journey, my own discovery of who I am and becoming so much freer as a person in how I look and how I feel about myself than even I was before. I am so grateful that the prayers were answered for the holes that I felt in my business, and God filled them exponentially more than I could have ever hoped for. And yeah, so really this is just a gratitude post about God showing up and being faithful in a very, real sense for what I do and who I show up for and how I am constantly trying to make what I offer you, the single person listening right now, you applicable and beneficial and deeply rooted in biblical truth and who God wants you to be. So with that said, I am going to let you go and enjoy the rest of your day. And I hope that you enjoy the rest of your holiday season as I am planning to enjoy the rest of mine and welcome a brand new baby girl in a few weeks. And I can't wait to get back to talking to you in January and just sharing some more cool information with you as 2024 begins.
Hey there, gorgeous. Before you go, if this episode inspired you and helped you to feel more confident, I'd love for you to leave me a written review on Apple Podcasts. Second, hop on over and join the free Facebook group at christianstylecommunity.com, where you'll find Jesus-loving women just like yourself learning about style and building a dream wardrobe. Get dressed, be radiant.